I'm
Hello,
Bill,
Bill.
and this is Thomas from Tarot Your Way, and we're going to do a session of coloring the tarot, and I'm gonna be the one who controls the pencil, and Thomas is going to tell me what to do. So it's like this master-slave relationship, maybe not completely, but we're going to be doing the Four of Cups, the Four Cups. And I will. So the ones that we've already done, and I did this almost 2 weeks ago with Roots and Waves, the Moon card. So there's a lot of these cards in this book that I cannot do because of the person who edited the book and everything. When they did it, they they really royally effed up. And in my opinion, they screwed up by why we have all these dark areas and do not allow for me to color these because they just photocopied or scanned. And so Essence of the Moon, welcome. And so this is so a lot of the cards in this book that have a lot, like the Devil card. I mean, look, I can't color this because it's got all that black that's on the card. And so what I will probably do is go back over and trace over these so we can do them at a later date. But that tracing is a real pain in the arse. And so anyways, so the only cards that I'm doing right now in this are the ones that do not have all that black space in it. And so that's why we'd be jumping around. Anyways, Essence of the Moon, welcome. And so I'm going to turn the camera face down, and I'm going to just block it off so you don't see my messy room here. And change that. Okay. Oh, you do see my messy room. I'm sorry.
So,
Okay.
now that I know that you live very close to the coast, I understand why you paint a lot of water pictures.
I do, but I also I want to live on the coast. I love and but it's so expensive, and so it's cost prohibited to live on the coast because anymore. and and people who are like native living down there, a lot of them can't even afford to live down there, and so it's really hard for those who are like the Siletz Indians and so forth, because um they can't, because you live down there, they don't generate enough of a wage in order to afford to live there. And so it's just like Hawaii. It's like most of the Hawaiian natives live in the state. So I have this color pencil set that my sister who gave me for Christmas, and so it's got a bunch of blues and greens um and welcome, Fatima and Hunter X Cream and Mama Sushi, and and welcome. And so we're
Oh,
going to
it's
get
like a
started
beautiful
here.
pencil set.
Yeah, yeah. So
Beautiful
it's
pencil
got
set.
yeah, that's right. So select what colors we're going to do this, and we got at and then I have Jeff from Tarot Ask Backwards coming on right afterwards, and I need to take my mama and my dog out for a walk in between these two things, and I also need to charge my phone up. Anyway, so let's get going. And so, what do you think? Now I
Let's
have,
let, let's
yeah,
go for a mid blue, a lighter mid blue. Not not blue, not quite light blue, not quite aqua. Maybe a blue greeny.
blue green. Okay, let me go see if I have a. How about this one? Let me just
Looks
like, let
good.
me come down here. This is sort of a blue. Can you see that?
Yeah. Yep. That's
Okay.
nice and bright.
All right. So we'll start with that. Let me see if I have some other shades of that too, and then we can maybe um, maybe I can take a couple different blues and put them together, and I can do some a little bit of layering if we have time. So we have this is a another sort of a bluish green at a different spectrum of it, and that's blue, and let's take a look at this one here. So that's more green. So a bluish green. And all right, let's see about this one here. So that's also has some green in it as well. All right, let's get going then.
So while you color, I'll give a little bit of the feelings of this card. So anybody who is familiar with Joe Monteleone, um, he has a quick method on how to read the cards in just sort of three steps. So he says, first of all, look at the element if there is an element in it. And here we have the element of uh, cups is the suit, and the element is of water. So, what is the element suggesting? Well, the element of water is emotion, fluidity, intuition. Um, love is an emotion, but you don't. A lot of people will interpret cups as love uh, because we get asked a lot of relationship readings. Uh, so so that's just the feeling of the suit and the element. And then the second part is what is the relationship or the pose of any person in that card doing in relation to the cups? Well, he's just sitting there, kind of kind of idle. Maybe he's distracted, daydreaming. Um, but he's his posture is shut off. He's not welcoming to anything new. He's already made up his mind about things, and he's actually ignoring the offer of the extra cup. Um, maybe he's satisfied. Maybe he's jaded from life, um, and and that's why he's set himself apart from feeling like he should get more out of life.
Hmm.
He's sitting there, he's contemplative, but his posture is closed off. So he's already got his mind made up, and he's set in his ways, even though he's a youthful adult. He's not old and stubborn like me. He's just young and uh, I'll just say jaded. And
Hmm.
then and then the third thing is how the colors relate. And we've got blue as the main color for the background, and usually the blue is um, religious or holy or connected secularly with Mother Mary. So this would be interpreted as mainly female energy card, even though a male is depicted.
Hmm. That's interesting. Yeah, I do follow Joe Montelli. I was like thinking about wanting to his book tarot mysticism is on my list, but it's like $25, and so I'm thinking, oh, I don't have an income, so it makes it kind of difficult to.
Two 2 pounds of quality cheese or a
Well,
nice
yeah,
meal.
yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you
Yeah,
gotta eat.
yeah, sometimes you have to eat. Now there was something that I heard this on Jackie's channel, what's it, Jackie's Crystal Moon,
This woman,
where
yeah.
she talked about this is like maybe that this is like somebody trying to lure somebody away,
Oh,
but
yeah, and, I think she talked about that in, relations to, true crime. So this would be maybe the pedophile offering the candy or the puppy dog to lure a child, or
yeah,
maybe just, if it's an adult, just, uh, opening the trunk and showing the stereos or whatever they're, uh, trying to pawn, uh, and peddle. But yeah, true crime, I I don't want to do true crime reads, just because if it's an active case and there's missing persons, I don't want to uh, lead a family into hopelessness or desperation. Um, but that's just my feeling only. Many people are very good at the true crime reads, and bless them if they actually can help the family
mhm,
or uh, law enforcement to move the investigation along or bring it to its climax.
yeah, yeah. I don't think I would feel comfortable doing that either. you know and basically there's also like where my stance exactly exists on trying to foretell the future or anything like that. um Maybe that probably my ideas might change in the future, but at this present time, but that's also looking at into the past and trying to move away from let's say that whole mystic experience of the tarot or of life and into a concrete sense. And welcome the more intuitive me, and Fatima, welcome. Yeah, and so with like dreams and so forth, and because how many times have I had like a scene vision in my mind's eye, like as I'm waking up, and it doesn't come true, but it comes true in a more of an emotional sense, in sort of an experiential sense, and so which makes me wonder if we can accurately predict things, but maybe for on a singular level, yes, but maybe not on like a whole societal level.
Yeah, when I try to interpret my own dreams, welcome Hershey. We have water. He's not fixed, but we have water. They put in valves or something to get us off the building and give us water separately. Um, so, like when I try to interpret my dreams, I go by the feeling and the emotion of what it made me feel. And
Hmm.
then I try to go back to experiences in my life that made me feel exactly like that or very much similarly. And then I look at any symbolisms that may be tied to those feelings. And
Yeah.
I can predict more accurately for myself than I
Hmm.
can as for the collective. Um,
Yeah.
but it's a hard sell, reading tarot out in the public. Like when Hershey and I were on the cruise, and I was offering people free tarot reads. They'd come up and, "Oh no, I don't want to know anything about my future." And well, that's not what a tarot read to me is. A tarot read is more to examine yourself and to bring a little more mental health clarity to you, and to guide you through the minefield of life.
Hmm. Yeah, I kind of had that same sentiments of not wanting to know physical things about my future, but anyways, but I do understand where those folks are coming from. But then there's the other thing of just what you explained, you know. Yeah. So what do you think of the sky so far?
I love it.
So I'm adding at this point in time, I'm adding like a blender. I'm adding some gray tones in there because if you look at, let's say, I look at the universal weight, how much blue and gray there is in the sky. But so I guess this isn't exactly a
He's well,
unrelenting.
he's not moody. He's
Yeah,
just reflecting. He's not brooding over anything consequential in his life.
yeah,
Um, he's got 20 idle minutes, and he's just doing a little daydreaming. Now,
yeah,
whether that's serving his purpose or not, only
yeah,
time will tell.
yeah. All right, so let's go on. Let's go on to what element do you want to do next?
Let's do b- b- maybe a greeny yellow for the foliage
Green for this here up here.
up there.
Okay, greeny yellow. Let me put these back while I can remember. So while I'm putting this back, let me ask you a question. And about how long have you been a student of tarot, and how did you originally get into it?
In the 90s, I had an IT job where I traveled uh, for 42 weeks of the year. I was based in Houston, but I would only be here like maybe late Friday night to mid Sunday, and then I'd fly out to a customer site for a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks at a time. And then when I got into the international, then I would fly out of the country for 13 weeks, a quarter at a time. That because that's all a work visa allows you to do. So with that airport time and plane ride time, I had a lot of idle time, so I took to reading books. And I think that year I had gone to a local Renaissance festival and had a tarot reading done. And I thought, well, they did hit on a thing or two, and let's dive into this. And the I was reading books, and I think I had Jung and the Tarot Archetypes by Sally Nichols on my desk when I was in Houston. And a coworker saw it, and she said, I belong to a charity, and we have a lady that reads tarot cards. Would you come out and read tarot cards as well and help us make money for our charity? So I
Hmm.
said, well, I've never read tarot cards for anybody. I'm just, like 5 books into it, and this was a very meaty book on the archetypes. And I said, well, sure. And so I went out to the bazaar on a Saturday, and they gave me 15-minute time intervals, and I read from 10 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon with no breaks. So that was 28 15-minute readings. And I had some cheater words on my my basic Rider White tarot deck, but by the time I'd read 28 Celtic cross readings with 10 cards each, 280 cards, I didn't need to rely on my training wheels anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So I did that. I did that for like 12 years for their charity.
Hmm.
And the other lady and we would set up our tables far apart because, we're having to talk loud because the charity was called the Daughters of the British Empire, and they had the drum and piper corps come through every half hour. So then you'd have to talk about that. So by the end of the day, my voice was shot, but I had gained enough tarot experience to say, "Hey, you know, I can do this."
Hmm. Interesting. And so what religious tradition did you grow up in?
I grew up in the reorganized Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints. This the other Mormons that did not go to Salt Lake City, but my great grandparents or whatever did go to Salt Lake City. With They didn't make it with Brigham Young. They made it the year after. They stayed there for 4 years. There's a statue to a forefather, Richard Ballantyne, in front of the Sweets Candy Company factory, uh, commemorating him starting Sunday school classes again. And then after 4 years, they decided that maybe they had followed the wrong break-off group of the religion, and they went back to Lamoni, Iowa, to follow Emma Smith's branch of the religion.
So do you have any Mayflower roots then?
I do not have Mayflower roots. The Scottish forefathers came like a year after the Great Crossing to Salt Lake City, so that's uh, English and Scots is the heritage, and that's like 1836 or so.
I see. Yeah, because like I have Mayflower roots in my one on I'm my Mayflower parents are John Howland and Elizabeth Tilley, and though my um but they had like 9 or 13 children, but one of their offshoots was Joseph Smith. So my Mayflower parents, Joseph Smith is one of their grandchildren, is a grandson of them. Like I'm like a of John Howland and Elizabeth Tilley, I'm like a 13th or a 14th great grandson.
Wow.
And so the daughter line was Hannah for me, but I don't know who. But Joseph Smith was not the same daughter, child line, and so, but it's the same parents, and so,
Family line.
so yeah, it's the same family line. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Welcome, 24 millimeter film. I am in Oregon, and Carol, your way is in Texas. So yeah, all right. So I'm rolling around with just some various shades of colors to make that greenish yellow color that you're talking about. And I'm just sort of layering things in. And yeah, so that was one question. Texas got
So
snow today.
yeah, we had 3 inches when I woke up, and it's warming up and melting off, but it's still blanketed. And we have no snow removal equipment, so it shuts the city down. And I just got um, before the live went on, I got a call from my doctor's appointment tomorrow, and they're closing the office down again. So the endocrinology appointment that I originally had over a year ago is now
Oh,
delayed till April 17th.
oh, wonderful. Yeah, yeah. So then you grew up in the Mormon church or a sect of the Mormon church. And so what pulled you out of it? Because
Um,
obviously you're not practicing now.
um, the realization that that religion and being gay isn't not compatible.
I see.
Um, and so I, I do keep a lot of the dogma of the religion uh,
Hmm.
with me, and so I say I'm still Mormon, but now it's not the religion Mormon; it's the Mormon the better.
I see. I see. Hmm.
I go to jokes inappropriately always. You know, I try to break things up with humor because life is life can be too intense at times, and if you don't have a sense of humor, you know, just like with the water burst, bring it on, or or
Yeah.
cry in bed for 3 days. You know,
Yeah.
you might as well face it and laugh.
Yeah. I see. Because maybe I was like thinking that maybe what pulled you out of it was your job as a traveling salesman, and then where you weren't able to, because jobs have a tendency of pulling people out of the habit of going to church. So, like me, when I was working in food and beverage as a bartender and these other things,
Well, uh,
you,
early on in that job, I was when I had multi-week trips and I had weekends, I was seeking out the local reorganized Latter Day Saint church
yeah,
and attending church services. So, I mean, it didn't leave me totally, but
I see.
it definitely left bitter taste in my mouth.
Yeah. Just as a side note here, I can remember this being at the barber shop, and there were two boys who were on their missions someplace, and I was explaining to them, "Oh yeah, why don't you go to the casino and go gambling?" And I was just selling the gambling. "Oh no, well, yeah, it's a lot of fun to gamble." Um, and then they said, "Well, we're Mormon." "Oh well, you can just stop by Las Vegas on your way home, and no one's gonna know that you spent some time there. I mean, you would have a great time."
Mhm. Well,
Yeah,
and Vegas has some Mormon roots to it.
it does. It does, but yeah. They said, "Well, no, we don't need to do that, and that's kind of against our religion." And well, yeah, all right, yeah, I got it. Yeah, yeah. Anyways,
But what a I guess convoluted experience to send 18-year-olds out for 2 years on a mission, and then um, some of them have the added challenge of learning a language well enough to speak it and preach it.
hmm,
Uh, their training for languages is exceptional, and even some of the military uh, utilize their language training facilities.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, but that idea of being sent out when you're 18 like that is a great idea because it helps to give a person perspective that's very valuable, valuable life perspectives, and to go see someplace that's different than where you grew up. And I think that might be also kind of what's behind the Amish thing of before a person commits to become Amish, they send people out into the world just to get a taste of the world.
And how confusing must that be to not have a lot of technology available to you, to be bombarded by media and technology and bright lights and fast living, and um, I'm
Hmm.
I'm sure there's a percentage that says, "Oh, my system can't take this. Let me go back to simpler times
Yeah.
and to the religion." And then there's some people that's like, "Hey, I never had Coke before in my life, and caffeine is good," or whatever was not allowed.
Yeah. Well, I guess when you said Coke, I was thinking I've never had cocaine before, but
Well, you know, I I haven't had experiences until later in life, and then I
well,
was.
yeah. So what about the tree here? What color do you want the trunk to be?
Let's go for a lighter brown.
So a lighter brown. I take some brown here, and then I can layer in some other colors into it as well.
Yeah, some browns and reds.
Okay, like maybe these three colors, and then okay, that's what I'll do then. All right, yeah, yeah. So we'll start with the little reds here, kind of oranges, and
So also, when Jackie was pointing out the hand, that represents, the divine,
mm-hmm,
maybe the hand of God or the hand of fate, handing something extra to a person.
hmm,
And since that person has free will, um, he can choose to ignore it and not take it, or he can take it up. But it looks in this case like he's contemplating not taking the boost
yeah,
that that may be his divine or God given right. Um, you
mm-hmm,
know, not not really putting it in Christianity, but um, maybe Buddha or Vishnu or
yeah, yeah.
um,
I got it. Yeah,
whoever is divine uh, that you follow wants you to have blessings.
mm-hmm,
Um, and maybe the blessing is just of peace and contentment,
yeah,
and knowing that what you have is enough for you, that you don't
mm,
really need to strive for something else.
yeah. Hmm. And so you as a reader, you're reading off the knowledge of the cards versus like being a an intuitive reader, but I know you're using your intuition
Yeah,
because there's the questions and everything because it demands that there's a flexibility to the meanings of the cards based upon what questions are being asked.
yeah. I basically teach tarot your way by book, but I also encourage you to use intuition and um, be a student of life and of experience. And I really encourage people to go out and be an investigative reporter about other people. Ask questions, and don't ask questions and then forget the answers. Really be interested in the answers, and then do the follow up question: why, or why do you think this, or why do you feel this, or why is it important to you?
Hmm.
And that's how I'm encouraging people to do tarot their way.
I see. That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I like go basically since I don't get out much anymore, I am it makes me feel kind of inadequate when it comes to doing readings for other people, like I say, I'm just mostly reading for like my sister, and so people that I do have some knowledge of, and not getting out much makes it kind of difficult because you feel kind of, I don't know how, if I'm explaining that right, but when you have a lack of experience. But I have extensive experience of living from before and asking all kinds of questions. Yeah, I get it. No, that's
And
yeah,
are you in the belief that you've had past life?
yeah. But I'm also in the belief that all that stuff doesn't matter right now because of it's just this the belief that the only thing that really matters is right now, and that past is the past, and
So you're
though
not
it's
you're not on a journey to solve past lessons that were not learned, or
no.
or you feel that the knowledge of the past lesson is gone with the veil of living this life, and you don't know if it's a lesson that you need to learn that you didn't
Well,
learn
I think
previously.
I think that it's more like that if it is a lesson from before, it will be manifesting in the now. It will
Just in the
manifest itself. Yeah.
yeah, just in the circumstances around what's going on around you.
Hmm.
So, so the experiences actually manifest the lesson.
Yes, something like that. But
Um,
y- yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, it's that my Christianity is very still that the teachings and everything is very strong in my life. And so that's where, but granted, I've never been much of an exoteric Christian. And so what do you think of the trunk there? Let's go on to the next element here.
Yeah, I think that's doing good. Let's leave the cloud white and let's go for a bold yellow or gold for the chalices.
We can go with I can go into my other pencil set that I have some metallic colors. And so
Excuse me.
and I do have an actual gold. Well, I'll just use that with the metallic colors. Here's a bronze, and I'll show them to you just in a second. I'm going to pull them out of this thing. This is a
So,
yellow.
anyone um, wishing to read tarot publicly, I would say try to get involved with a esoteric fair situation. If the booth space is cost prohibitive to go in and do that, um, don't do that. I would just
Yeah.
say look for events that maybe you could rent space at, or any social clubs that you have that have events. Maybe set yourself up in a position to read for a charity for monies for your clubs. Um, yeah, any of those metallics look good.
Okay. All right. So we'll just probably just use all of these metallics in them, and I think we'll probably use this darker one in the back. Yeah. So that's a yeah. I haven't really heard of too many of those types of fairs. I know that there is a shop in Salem. Salem is the closest. Well, it's the closest large city to where I live, and
And maybe a local crystal shop or esoteric shop would let you bring in a card table and a couple chairs on a Saturday and offer free readings, or like reasonable price readings, not not like the one-on-one sessions that the pricing some kind times can get very expensive. So, I would
Yeah.
say keep it reasonable, and like I said, maybe 15, 20 minutes at max. Because, there might be several people that want to have their tarot read, and um, if they're running errands on a Saturday or just shopping, they may not have the time commitment uh, to
Yeah.
sit down for or wait for 20-minute readings before they have their 20-minute reading.
Yeah. Yeah. I've actually never heard of. I'm sure they have some of those fairs in Portland or maybe even in Eugene, but Eugene's like, what is that? It's like
Well,
that's
well,
like a
Bill,
long ways away from me.
Bill,
Yeah,
you can also organize your own um, fair.
I could do that. I probably wouldn't do it around here with how evangelical this area is.
Well, yeah, you gotta know your market and your audience.
Yeah.
So go to some more progressive. College towns are usually the best, unless it's a Christian college.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I was like thinking maybe a flea market or something like that. Because I've had booths in flea markets before.
Yeah, open up the trunk of the car, pull out the card table and two chairs, and
Yeah.
you're set to go. And it doesn't have to be. You don't have to set the mood with candles and curtains and
Yeah,
turbans,
yeah. Well, because
turbans blowing,
all of that just sounds like way too much work.
and big rings and you know uh, capes. Yeah. I sat down for these like in a blue Oxford cloth shirt and black slacks, and
Mhm.
that's what I did.
Yeah, yeah. Welcome, Grimy 90Z.
And I see Sam joined us. Hello, Sam.
Yeah,
Blessings, Fatima, and all that are here. And
and
Jeff is
Jeff
here.
is here. He's been here for a few minutes,
Yeah, he's
and
he's waiting for his turn. He's waiting for me to shut my yap, and he
well,
can
yeah,
go.
but then well, he can come on. He'll be coming on as soon as um. Well, we're meeting backstage at 4:15 my time, and then between the time that I shut this camera off, I got to plug the camera in because it's you know how phone batteries they don't last forever. Anyways, that detail is not important. We're gonna go on to let's go on to the foliage, and then we'll go to him
Okay,
down here. So the grass down here. What do you think?
let's do a little darker greeny yellow.
A darker
Maybe,
green.
yeah,
Okay.
maybe mid ranges.
Mid ranges or darker.
Yeah, yeah, mid ranges to darker. And then you know,
So like this.
yeah, that looks verdant enough.
Well, how about we'll start with this and we'll do this and then we'll go in. I'll go back in over it with a different color altogether. So you can see like you can add you start at one place and then you add light to it or darkness to it where it needs to be. And so yeah. So I have a question and um
That's the answer.
questions. I wrote down a bunch of questions and one of my questions is um let me how did I word that? How do you think tarot works? How does tarot work?
Well, I think that tarot works on a system that is unknown to us, but it is a system common to every man, woman, and child, and human experience. There are the big things that come up in life, your major arcanas. There is the everyday uh, picadillos, celebrations, setbacks, which are your minor arcanas. And I
Yeah.
think the way that I'm using and interpreting more as a mental health state. Um, it is not. It is just a thinking point on how to deal with things that go on in your everyday life. It
Mm-hmm.
is. It is not a recipe to follow and you know mix, bake, result. That
Yeah.
is not that is not how it happens, because a choice today can affect tomorrow's outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is always an ever changing, and uh, just as life is, I would say the summary card of the tarot would be the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
Just take it as it comes. There's good, there's bad, there's happy, there's sad, and that's the reason why all these um, um, divergent emotions that this human experience has. Uh, if it's all happy, there's no sadness, and the happiness loses some of its zest and appeal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we we don't all have the right to be happy, but in in a constitution that hasn't been knocked out of existence yet, we have the right to pursue happiness in whatever we feel happiness is to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not not a God given divine right. It's a uh, as long as you follow the law of the land, it's your right to go after it.
Mm-hmm. Now, I want to. Essence of the Moon had mentioned something here about she had a dream about a past life, and I wanted when you mentioned that before. I there was a dream that I had several years ago, and I just remembered it just like yesterday, where I was standing before a book, and it didn't in that book it was and I was in a room full of books, and then I looked at down at the book. I don't remember the print or anything on it, but then I got the distinct feeling. Oh, this was my life right now, and all those other books in the room were other lives that I had lived. And that was just a dream. And because the more intuitive me was talked in the chat here about some of her
And
dreams that revealed her past lives.
in in a tongue in cheek uh, dream interpretation, I would say Bill's Library of Judgment.
My library of judgments. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, so if we go back to like how, because now I had thought maybe this might be as far as the tarot working in that where every single tarot card applies to a person at every given time, but then how you deal them out, um, then it makes it, I don't know, so that maybe it's more random, but then that and just in that moment, it's like you're finding connections and everything. I don't know that maybe that's a bit more
But the
more more
maybe a
cynical, but
maybe a spread or a reading is just the key for right now. Um,
yeah.
thing to think about, to ponder, to maybe to act on, or to get more knowledge about.
Hmm.
And we are creatures of knowledge, And if you're not seeking more knowledge, um, I think that life becomes mundane or routine if you
Yeah.
don't seek to enrich your life in some way, whether it be knowledge or a skill or a talent.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to play guitar and my ukulele. Just fingers won't do it, but I've figured out a way to play each note, each chord, all by itself, record it, and edit edit the the chords and the strums together
Hmm.
without having to play it in real time.
Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. All right, let me see if I have another question here. Now, what before we get the other question, do I need to add some more layers to the grass? Now, what about the little mountain in the background?
Um, I'm gonna say he's like an orange, red orange terracotta.
Okay, red, orange, terracotta. Let's do it this one back here.
In a lot of tarot cards, we have the pyramids, which are your sandstone um, colors, and
Yeah.
then I think that you get to Oklahoma and Mid Americas, and we've got that red earth um, that we need to incorporate as indigenous land and fertile soil.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Because everything over here is kind of green, or they don't have very many that flats. Oh, what just happened? Nothing. I was just like
Earthquake in
trying.
Oregon.
Yeah. And there's this little tree there, and I think I'm gonna just choose some color here for that little tree there. What about this guy's um tunic and all that?
I'm gonna say it's either a very crimson tunic or a very blue, cobalt blue tunic.
Okay, cobalt blue. I just chose like this pinkish color to put in on this tree in the background, so it had some oddball color that wasn't found in nature. Um, and so a cobalt blue. And what about his skin color?
Um,
You
well,
want to?
there's 10 different tans, going all the way from pale white to dark brown. Um, you know,
Mm-hmm.
humans come in all sorts of colors, and maybe the human is one of your more common human colors, but maybe the divine is. Um,
So, so when I colored this first card on my own, I chose like a silvery color for the skin tone.
yeah, that works. That's
Okay.
in um, in standing with the Pamela Coleman Smith
Mm-hmm.
colorings.
Yeah.
Um, and her interpretations of the cards, Arthur White had um, big say in the major arcana cards, but
Yeah.
he sort of left the interpretation picture wise to Pamela Coleman Smith. So, congrats to Pixie for giving us this alternative imagery that we have.
Yeah. So I don't. I'm sure I have a cobalt blue. What What does cobalt blue look like?
Cobalt blue looks like the old time medicine bottles colors.
Oh, okay. So it's like a really blue color.
Yeah.
So maybe like
Sim-
this
Similar to my shirt.
to your shirt. Okay. I have that color. I have that my other. I mean something like this.
Yep,
Let's
that would be
let's
good.
see. Okay, we'll just do that one.
A little more
And
true.
so then while I am doing this, um, I have a question. Okay, this is just if.
Essence and
Oh,
then says that you were in the Hall of Records when you had your dream with all the books.
okay, yeah. So this is my question here is if on your YouTube channel you had um you could sponsor a product, what product would that be and why?
Uh, some kind of grainy bran cereal because I'm old and crabby, and to be constipated and old and crabby is just a really bad personality to be around.
I see. Hmm. Yeah. Because that's something I think about, and I thought, oh, that's it. I've never actually heard anybody with small channels actually talk about stuff like that. I'm gonna
Uh,
choose a couple of different colors because the guy's got a tunic on and he's got an under tunic on, and so, anyways, 'cause I like that was thinking about that for myself and think, gosh, I would like to
um,
sponsor it.
well,
Yeah,
I would love to be sponsored by a cruise gambling, but I can't be sponsored because of my disability and losing that status.
yeah,
So it's just a pipe dream for that,
yeah.
and even the raisin bran or whatever kind of brand, uh,
Hmm.
it is a dream. But uh, I have vivid dreams, and probably since 2018, my health has declined and my mobility is gone.
I
Um,
see.
but I enjoy dreaming because when I'm dreaming, I forget that I'm disabled and I'm pretty fully able and active and, riding bikes and jumping through creeks and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, Thomas's channel is Tarot Your Way because Essence of the Moon wanted to know that. I don't have, I don't think I can't type into here to see what's going on. But I'm maybe I can. But anyways, so you have you really can't have that because of your being on Social Security disability
Correct.
yeah, and then but yeah. Because I think about that and I'm thinking I'd like it to be like coffee or certain coffee brands or like a
What-
local coffee brand or like
And the product I drink daily, Diet Coke. So
Diet Coke. Yeah.
and they do sponsor some big events. And
Hmm.
in my younger days, I did a bicycle ride across Iowa 2 years in a row called RAGBRAI, and it stands for Register's Annual Great Bike Ride Across Iowa. And the
Yeah.
Register is Des Moines Register newspaper. And at the time, they were like, it was RAGBRAI 12 and 13, and I think they're on 51
Hmm.
last year. So many, many moons ago. And it goes across Iowa from the Missouri River to the Mississippi River. Takes a week. They stay overnight in these small towns, 2,000 to 10,000 people. Usually you stay on a fairgrounds or camping or in a schoolyard or something like that. But these towns go all out for hospitality, and I was known for corn and pork chops
Mm-hmm.
and uh, fried pies, and um, it's a week of roughing it, but you don't. It's not really a chore to bicycle ride across Iowa because
It's
you've got
flat.
all day. You got all day to get there, and it's midsummer, so you've got ample sun from 5 in the morning till eight
Mm-hmm.
thirty at night. So even if you have to bicycle, thank you. Subbing like to Bill because Bill, it's hard to um, be an instructor and to do an activity and talk and moderate and do all the things that you do on this channel,
Yeah.
and you do it so much better than myself because you have a lot more on air hours.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking Angie right now for moderating.
Thank you, Angie, Roots and
Yeah.
Waves.
For moderating
And thank you for putting up my link
my
for
information. Yeah.
subscribing.
So I pulled out of my other pencil kit. This is a pewter and it is a silver, which I can do his skin, and
Do the
probably
way.
will do this hand that's coming out of the clouds as well. And so let me see. Did I have another question? I had lots of questions. So product. So it'd be like, yeah, that was something fun. And then, so why was it that you decided to get into YouTube?
I had exactly nothing planned on getting into YouTube, but a couple years ago, um, I was following the political tarot, um,
Mhm.
and then some other tarot shows along the way, and just so happened at Christmas time I got picked for free readings. So um, boy, my memory just got erased.
Free readings. You were picked for free
So
readings.
yeah, oh gosh, wow. Growing old sucks when your memory just
Yeah,
dump, dumps on you.
I understand.
So a Canadian friend, she was she does daily readings, and she was a baton twirler in the past, but she was doing a holiday advent calendar, and one of the days was give away a free reading, and she picked me randomly, and I wasn't watching that day, but several people got in touch with me to say that I had won the reading on her channel, and so after Christmas we scheduled a time for the reading, and it was just lovely, and I didn't tell her that I did tarot myself.
Yeah.
Uh, and then another lady from I believe she's from Canada as well. She gets help from a friend, and she's from like Romania. Oh my goodness. Um, and she picked me for or she had somebody had sponsored a reading, so they had paid her for a reading for one of her viewers, and
Hmm.
she held a drawing, and she selected me. Um, oh my,
And so from this, you and was this so from this and doing this you made a decision to start your own
I
channel
I
then?
made a decision from going to passively watching these things to, well, dummy, you have tarot knowledge. Why don't you just pass on your knowledge as
Yeah.
a teaching channel? You know, I can read when I want to read. I can teach when I want to teach, and you know, let people know that even though it's considered woo woo, anybody can do it.
Hmm.
It just takes some study, some practice, some time. Um,
Yeah. What about this guy's shoes? What colors should his shoes be?
Moccasins. Let's do like a deerskin orange.
Okay. I have this orange here that I've been using throughout this so it kind of ties things together. So then what are your favorite YouTube activities to do that's like just the technical aspects of running your channel? Do you have favorite things
Um,
with that or do you not like that that activity at all?
Oh my goodness, I have researched and researched and researched to, you know, I I call it gaming the system, and I really drive Hershey nuts by doing it because
Hmm.
it really doesn't pay off. I think the more hours you put into actually being in front of people and doing it is gonna be the only payoff. You can't game the system. You can't put in hashtags and keywords and you know, cards and pop-ups and subscribes and likes randomly through your videos, and you know, you don't have to be a hyperactive editor that goes quick and fast, like watching a episode of Moulin Rouge or something on the
Yeah.
screen. You know, is that y- that's Mr. Beast and entertainment channels.
Yeah.
Tarot is a thinking channel. You can't put all that fast paced stuff in there.
Well, I know that when I edit videos, I turn the speed up on everything. Um, ho- so hold on a second here. My mother's calling me. So why don't you just talk here and I'll be right back.
Okay, so you know, anybody who's thinking of starting a YouTube channel, um, I will tell you what one of the readers told for me. You know, you got to go in it for
So,
you, and it's work. It's definitely
all right.
work.
Well,
It's more work than you could ever think possible because if you open yourself up to private readings, then you got logistics and scheduling and stuff that you don't think of on a daily basis. And but if you there is nothing as frustrating at times, and then there is nothing as gratifying at times because people validate the messages that you're giving in the readings or the or comment on the insights that you bring to things. So it's give and take, it's plus and minus. And what else do I have as a disabled retired person to do? Uh, I could I
mhm.
could be watching gambling videos, which I do.
I do too. I
Um,
love.
roulette
Yeah.
is my go-to because
Hmm.
you don't you can't be clever. There is no strategy. It's just dumb luck.
Hmm. Yeah. I watch Keno slots. I love Keno slots. I have 6 or 7 different Keno slot apps on, some on my tablet and some on my phone. And then, I'm trying to, play multi-card Keno. I love Cleopatra Keno. And
Roberta Kino, Dino
yeah, yeah,
Kino.
Yeah, or caveman Keno, or and things like that. All the real cool ones you have to actually go to a casino to play. But
I, the slot machine app that I have that has Keno, I like to play 20 card Keno and take it just a
mhm,
chunk of numbers and put my tens for my 20 different cards with just, this little range area of
mm,
numbers. So if you hit big on multiple.
yeah, 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 lower, yeah, I layer those. So I'm coloring the cloud with some of these metallic colors, and just to keep it consistent, you have the skin that's sort of metallic, and so this is that, the divine, and the divine is all there. And anyways, so look, Thomas, we've actually kind of pretty much gone through this card, and
Very
we've been
good.
we've been on for an hour. Wait, an hour and 10 minutes, and then so it's time for me to take the dog for a walk, and then get prepared for
For
tarot your way. And so this is no tarot ask
ask
backward.
backwards.
Yeah.
Um, I I curse Jeff for making that uh words WORDS instead of wards, because whenever I have him as a guest, I
Hmm.
always get it misspelled and don't get his link right. So,
Yeah.
apologies for my brain lacks, not yours. You're clever. I'm just old.
Oh,
So,
well.
Bill, thank you for
Yeah.
inviting me, and I'm
Yeah.
glad we got
Today.
this knocked out.
So what is today, the 17th?
Oh no, we're past that.
What is today's? Is it It's the 21st. Okay. One twenty
Yeah.
one 25. With tarot, and I when you started saying tarot ask backwards, I started writing it. And tarot your way. All right, tarot your way. And this was fun. I still had a lot more questions, so I'm gonna, as I fine tune this process, I will get better at interviewing and doing all of that. And I'll have you on another time, because you have so much knowledge about the cards, and I really had appreciated that.
And as you pointed out, it is more book knowledge that I have than intuition. But the longer I do this, the more intuitive I'm learning to be.
Yeah, well, because me with that, my background, there's the tendency to be a rule follower to a certain degree, but then not at all. And so, so I've been like trying to think of, like, well, do I really need to read reversals? And do I really
You
need?
don't.
Yeah,
The answer is you don't,
mhm,
but you can get a more nuanced story and reading for your querent if you do reversals.
yeah. But I think sometimes it depends on the deck, because if you look at like this one, I don't necessarily feel like this is a deck that the Aquarian deck does not look like. The back of it
Yeah, the
does not
and
look
that
like it. You
and
can
that
do reversals.
people that do read reversals, I suggest that they get a dual sided back deck, so you
Yeah,
don't know prior to turning the card over whether it's upright or reversed.
yeah, yeah. Like this one, or like the 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 universal weight, or the
Yeah,
um
just
yeah,
your standard plaid back. You
yeah,
know, um,
yeah,
you don't know if it's upright. You don't know if it's upright. You don't
exactly.
know
And
if it's reversed.
so So for me, I have been sitting with the Aquarian Tarot for like 3 or 4 months, and I haven't actually. I have two decks, and I haven't actually shuffled any of them yet. And
Oh,
so I like the mini size, but I bought the large size for the book because that book that came with it, which was expensive and and I really wanted that book. But I don't like the full size cards. I don't like thick cards. I like ones like that are you can actually because I love the art in that the Light Seer Tarot, but the thickness of that deck is so thick that I can't shuffle it, and so it's just like oh, so I just don't even really use it very much. And then also the deck always gives me bad news, and so anyways, that's all I got. I can
I,
talk
I,
about.
I tend not to use bad news decks.
Yeah, yeah.
And with my limited hand mobility, um, I just asked Hershey to shuffle cards, and man, she'll go to town, and they're
Hmm.
shuffled. And you know, thank goodness I have her as a mentor as well because uh, I get exposed to a lot of knowledge in belief systems and faith systems that my semi Mormon Christianity did not expose me to, or my limited um, history of
Yeah,
culture. Uh,
yeah,
but this was fun, Bill. Thanks for inviting me.
yeah. Yeah,
And
and you will be back on soon. I don't know when,
okay,
but it'll be soon. And I have some other some other folks that want to go on. And Mia, welcome Mia. And so I will want to. I'm gonna like wrap this up because it's time to take that little doggy for a walk before the sun goes down. And the sun goes down in my valley 2 hours before it goes down everywhere else. And so
uh,
thank you very much, Thomas, and thank you everybody in the chat for having a delightful conversation in there. I know you had it, and I was like watching a little bit of the conversation you had, and then I was, of course, doing things and multitasking and much better than I thought I would do. But
well,
anyways,
you do great multitasking. I suck at it still.
all right, and so then make sure you go over to Tarot Your Ways channel and go check his videos out and sub and do all that the sub and like button and maybe just go through and randomly like every single video that's there and sub every video, do that and yeah, and I'm going to be back in roughly an hour and 15 minutes from now with Tarot Ask Backwards, and then that's the show for today. For anyway, this is
I,
this.
I will I will sign out with my favorite um, sign off. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to others, and go out and make it a great day.
All righty,
Thanks for having
that's
me,
it.
Bill.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye bye.
Goodbye.